Good morning, everybody, and welcome to The Balancing Act. We're so glad you're here. I'm Julie Moran.
And I'm Olga Villaverdi.
All right, health matters today on the show as we take a look at those couples struggling with infertility. It can be devastating for those who can't conceive, but we've got hope for those who are trying to become pregnant.
Also, they're known as EHRs, or electronic health records. And you know, they're used, Julie, by physicians, hospitals, pharmacists, and healthcare providers. They're really good because it's the exchange of information that's benefiting patients more than ever.
I love that. All that coming up right now on The Balancing Act.
There's nothing cuter than little ones or learning you're about to become a mother, unless, of course, you're unable to conceive. And each time you see a baby, your heart saddens. Infertility can be devastating. In fact, 1 couple in 7 struggles to get pregnant. But there is hope. Dr. Juliet Skinner, medical director at the Barbados Fertility Center, joins me this morning to discuss. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, Olga.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Doctor, let's talk about that. You know, people get married or they want to have a child and they can't conceive. Painful, frustrating. I could probably think of so many words of that anxiety that's going through them.
Infertility is a devastating medical condition. Let's face it, many people spend years actually trying not to become pregnant.
Right, they're avoiding it.
They're avoiding it, and suddenly, you know, the goal becomes a baby and a pregnancy, and this is not happening. So huge frustrations build up. And I think at the end of the day, ultimately, you know, how long does it take to conceive? Well, most couples are going to achieve a pregnancy within 6 months.
Okay.
The medical definition uses a timeline of a year before then it's appropriate to start medical assessment and treatment. Unless, of course, a lady is older than 35, which case that advice is altered to be in more than 6 months. We should certainly investigate and treat those patients because the success rates will decrease as a lady gets older.
And doctor, I know there's many factors as to why someone can't conceive. What are they? Is it stress, environment, their body, what?
Yeah, I mean, there are many factors that can perhaps be a problem. I mean, I think one of the first steps that we take is to review the couple's history, anything from their background. You know, for the lady, is her menstrual cycle regular? Has she had any previous gynecological problems? And, you know, that initial history will allow us to perhaps establish some pointers of where we will turn to. The next step would then be to evaluate and do what's called a primary fertility screen, which would include a test of ovulation, a test of tubal patency, and a semen analysis. And if the lady is over 32, we're usually also going to do an ovarian reserve assessment. Because yes, a woman is born with all of her eggs. We don't make them new. And as we get older, the number and quality of those eggs will decline. And that's a huge factor. And it's also a huge factor as to why is infertility now more common now than it was in our granny's era.
Because everybody's, or most people today, are having children later.
Correct.
So for someone out there that says, well, I have to look for that center, what should they look for?
Well, I think choosing the right clinic is a huge decision. I mean, ultimately, obviously, success rate is extremely important. But unfortunately, IVF treatment is also extremely costly, and particularly here in the US.
And I don't think it's covered by insurance.
No, in most states, it's not covered by insurance. It's very much something that someone pays for out of their own pocket.
And let's bring in Barbados Center. A lot of people are going there. Why are they going to that location?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the first thing is when we set Barbados Fertility Center up, it was set up with a vision, which was that, you know, one of the most important things has to be the key that you are individualizing care, that it's not a conveyor belt, that each couple is different. Is infertility stressful? Yes. But I think that we have to think beyond the basic science. You know, science can push things so far, but we've got to take that holistic approach. And let's face it, surely if we can combine IVF treatment alongside the fact that the patient is also in a relaxed holiday setting, that has got to have a positive impact. It's got to improve things. So, you know, I think Barbados as a destination is a place that certainly is very established as a tourism product. You know, we have twice daily flights from Miami and New York. We have a wonderful group of hotels and accommodation, fantastic restaurants and attractions for people to entertain themselves. At Barbados Fertility Center, we have a designated staff member who is there to help make that journey easier if need be. And, you know, and I think that as a centre, we have a full complement of a wonderful team of people. One of those people, Dr. Roberta Corona, joined us last year. And I think that very, very importantly, you know, we all have to have the same vision. And that vision has to be that a 1% improvement in success rate is a baby for someone. We must not lose sight of what we do.
And what you do is so special. And I have an email from a couple who sent us their thoughts on what happened with them. And this is what they wrote, and I'd like to share that with our viewers. They wrote, quote, "Last year today, my dreams came true, and I gave birth to my son. This past year was the brightest and the happiest year of my life. Anytime I hold my baby, I keep telling myself, this is nothing but a miracle." End quote. How fabulous.
Yeah. It is an unbelievably special feeling to do what we do. You know, I think when a patient comes in to show you their baby proudly at the end of delivery, or perhaps sends those early photographs, and we get that call. We've had calls from patients when, you know, the husband's calling, she's just delivered. He's bawling, crying, and to let you know, and that you're one of the first people that they ring, okay? And I think what it does is it really grounds us. I think it makes us remember why it is that we do what we do.
For our viewers out there who would like information on Barbados Center, what's the website?
Yep, barbadosfertility.com.
barbadosfertility.com. Thank you, Doctor, for what you do. And if you'd like to learn more, log on to our website, thebalancingact.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Time again for today's tech tip. These days, kids are wizards when it comes to technology. Today, our tablet and smartphone expert, Elizabeth Little of Arulu Technologies, is back again to show how affordable tech for tots can be. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Oh, baby, this looks expensive.
You'd be surprised. This little tablet sells for only $60.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. You know, tell me about the baby pad. I mean, it really looks different than other tablets.
It is different from other tablets, Julie. Everything about it was designed specifically for kids. It has soft rails and rubberized corners to prevent scratched furniture as well as injuries. And it's built to be ultra durable to withstand drops.
I love it. All right, how about baby pad software? What makes it so special for kids?
Well, the interface is really colorful and captivating, and it includes activities that kids love, such as painting and photo editing.
Well, now, how can you guys at Arulu keep things so inexpensive? I've got to know.
Well, we do it by selling 100% online through irulu.com as well as other retailers, and we pass along that cost savings to our consumers.
And what about, I think you've got a special offer today for Balancing Act viewers?
We do. We have 20% off on irulu.com plus free shipping for Balancing Act viewers.
Thank you so much for the deal for our viewers. We love that.
Of course.
And if you'd like to discover more about the baby pad, visit us at thebalancingact.com or socialize. Log on to Facebook/The Balancing Act fans.
With today's interconnectivity, no connection is more critical than information related to our health. Medical data shared and used by doctors, hospitals, and pharmacists must be accurate and instantly accessible. So important. Carrie Bruning, Director of Marketing for Allscripts, a company dedicated to connecting healthcare data, joins us to kick off this discussion. And coming up a little bit later, we're going to meet an IT specialist from MIT who'll share some in-depth insight from the patient and provider side. Good morning.
Good morning, Olga. It's so wonderful to be here.
I'm glad you're here because I know we've come a long way when it comes to medical information way back when to today. Let's start with Carrie. Why is it so important to kind of like connect all the dots with our medical data, our health information? Why is that so vital?
It's very vital to anyone who's had a family member with a chronic health issue or a complex health issue understands how important it is to connect those dots. Once you start leaving the network of your primary care physician and seeing a specialist in cancer or a specialist in surgery, they may not be using the same electronic health record that your primary care doc is using. And one of the really cool things about what our organization can provide to patients and their family members is a website. You can log in once and see what your specialist is doing for your care, what your primary care doc is doing for your care, and even what your surgeon is doing for your care, no matter what electronic health record they're using.
Now, let me ask you something. Your company, and I was reading this, Allscripts, it described itself as a technology provider using a unique, quote, open architecture. What does that mean?
Open architecture allows computers from different companies to talk to each other behind the scenes. In healthcare, you have doctors, as we discussed before, who might be using different electronic health records. And you need to have one website where you can log in and get access to your results from your specialist, access to your results from your surgeon, access to results from your primary care physician without having to log into 3 different websites.
And let's talk about how this has really changed the way even doctors' offices look like. Because when I was little, I was working at my dad's office to try to make a little bit more money. He's a surgeon. And I remember him telling me, go get me this file, go get me this file, this patient. And I would have to put those files back. And once I even put them in the wrong place, it was a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? I mean, it really didn't work, but it was all we knew. That's really changed. And Allscripts done a great job in doing that, too.
Oh, definitely, definitely. You know, automating the paper was a huge step forward. As you know, working with your dad, you were only allowed 1 copy of that paper medical record.
Right.
That means only the person who has the medical record can look at it. And that's very self-limiting in and of itself. Nobody can get the big picture. So automating with electronic health records enables clinicians to access your information on a need-to-know basis. If they are involved in your care team, they can access your information, they can update your information, even if they're not in the same physical location that you are in. It allows a lot more communication between you and the care team, as well as coordination of care.
Really making a big difference. Okay, stay right there because we're going to talk more about this, and I love hearing this form of moving forward. When we come back, we're going to also hear from an MIT medical information systems expert. We're going to examine the patient side of information technology, how data can be good for your health. More when the Balancing Act continues. Welcome back. We've been speaking with Carrie Bruning, Director of Marketing for Allscripts, and joining us now, Beth Downing, an Information Systems Senior Specialist at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, also known as MIT. Good morning.
Good morning. Pleased to meet you.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. You must be real smart, MIT.
I just worked there. I didn't go to school there.
You have to be smart just to work there, okay? Let's talk about what we've been talking about this morning regarding technology, the healthcare industry, and all the data. What feedback are you getting from patients? It must be great.
We have been getting very positive feedback from our patients with our new website, Follow My Health. For years, patients have been asking for access to their medical records, and now they have it. Log into the website, they can access their laboratory and radiology results, they can request appointments from their providers, they can send secure messages to their providers, and they can also request prescription renewals, all online.
And that's really great because, Carrie, I know that feeling when you go draw blood, you want to know the results, you're waiting, you're calling, you're on hold, you never get the answers. Shazam, now you can get them. Exactly. Can you add anything?
I agree with you. I agree with Beth wholeheartedly. From a personal experience, I'm also a Follow My Health user. And with a history of breast cancer, every year when you get the mammogram, you know the tension that creates. And being able to log in 2 days after the mammogram and know that everything's okay rather than waiting 10 days for snail mail makes a huge difference.
It's huge. It's peace of mind for that matter.
Exactly.
And I love that for myself and my family. Beth, what are some other positive advantages that you see when a patient is choosing a doctor that is using and embracing Allscripts?
Mainly convenience. If a parent, let's say, is making an appointment for one of their children, they can log on to the website at any time that's convenient for them. They don't necessarily have to play phone tag with the pediatrician's office. They just log on and they request an appointment for their child. Another advantage is prescription renewals. If you need a medication renewed, you log on to the website. Again, a time that's convenient for you, request the renewal. The turnaround time is very quick.
Carrie, let me ask you this. You're a pediatric nurse and you know a lot about, just all the records and the data. Are there, with clinicians using, and you call them EHRs, electronic health records, any problems with that you see?
I can't speak to other electronic health record companies, but with Allscripts and clients and organizations like MIT that we work with, there's really a partnership on driving quality and driving outcomes. We've seen clients, obviously like MIT, that are really working to engage and empower their patients to take control of their health care. And we've worked with organizations to help them achieve better outcomes related to mortality, improving lengths of stay, getting you out healthy, getting you out without side effects, without risks. And it's really a partnership towards improving the quality of health.
And Beth, this partnership, which is so important because millions of people are using it now and following and using the portal Follow My Health. If I were a patient, let's say today, and I'm looking for a new doctor, I could have moved, I could be living somewhere else, or I just don't like my doctor anymore, and I'm in search of one. Does it behoove me, or is it more, I guess, positive if I choose one that is partaking?
It definitely does. I would highly recommend choosing providers that embrace technology for a number of reasons. One, the Follow My Health website is very easy to use. 2, it's mobile. You can also have it on, there's an app for that.
Wow, there's an app for that, of
There's
course.
an app for that on your mobile Apple and Android device. They're continuing to develop the technology. So currently, as you can imagine, students at MIT, they use mobile devices quite a bit. They can request to have their appointment reminders, notifications sent via a text message.
Oh, that's great. And Carrie, you know, at the end of the day, and I'm going to have you close this out, I just feel like it helps the patient feel just more empowered.
Exactly. That's really what it's all about, is giving you control to drive your healthcare experience and to drive to a better quality outcome for you and your family.
All right, let's drive our viewers for more information. If they'd like to know more about this, where do they go?
They can go to myhealthcaredata.com.
Great information. Thank you so
Olga.
much, Carrie. Thank you so much, Beth. God bless both of you. And if you'd like additional information on high tech and your health, visit us at thebalancingact.com or log on to Facebook.com/The Balancing Act Fans.
Portions of today's program are brought to you by iRulu, makers of quality tablets and smartphones that fit the family budget. iRulu, today's hottest technology without the high price.
We hope you learned a little something on today's show, and hopefully couples who are trying to have a family will be blessed with this renewed hope.
Absolutely. In a beautiful place like Barbados, where
been there?
I went on my honeymoon.
Really?
Yep. Remember, we've got lots more on our website, thebalancingact.com.
I went on a cruise.
Yeah.
Yours is better. Check out our Facebook page.
Until next time, remember, find your balance. So long,
I should have
everybody.
thought of Barbados.